Yan. Hey, everybody. Hello, Growth Fam. Welcome to our sixth live. Medyo matagal since our last one. And the reason is because we've been working on the Smart Kid program. That is our exclusive parent training program targeted towards our children's foundations for learning. So we've already finished it. We still have a few coaching calls kasi part of the 6 weeks na learning program ng Smart Kid ay one-on-one with the parents who attended. And I'm happy meron nang natapos na talaga with the program. We still have a few parents who are yet to schedule their one-on-one coaching calls with me. So I think tatlong parents na lang and matatapos na officially yung Smart Kid program. Okay, so this time, medyo matagal tayo nabalik din sa live natin, but we're going live to announce that we are reopening behavior management by a black sheep, and that is batch 2. And then the last batch na rin for 2022 because the next time we're opening behavior management will be next year na 2023. So we will have the second run of behavior management by a black sheep this July, at the end of July. But we're gonna give out more details as we go along our live stream, and you're gonna get the link then mamaya on how to register and how to sign up. There will be a fee this time because there will be a recording and the workbook already. Pero we're gonna make sure na mas quality and of course mas long-term din yung learning similar to the last time. So we're gonna have we took the feedback then that you gave us from the last behavior management by a black sheep. So marami nag-request with a workbook to match, and also of course the recordings, knowing that syempre may days, since it's gonna run for 4 days, mayroon talagang times na mabibisi tayo dun sa course na yun. So we want you to catch up and mag-stay din yung live recordings with you to make sure that mas long-term yung learning, and so you can check on the recordings as well kapag may nakalimutan na concept or if you want to learn more and dig deeper about a certain topic. Hello po, Mommy Janine. Ayan, si Janine. Hello po and welcome to the Growth live stream. So happy to have you here tonight. And yes, we will be following yung growth natin, 3-to-1 grow na format. We will have 3 questions, 2 toys, and 1 lesson that we're gonna cover this evening. Medyo late tayo nag-start, but I know marami sa inyo kakatapos lang din mag-dinner. So hopefully you can spend the night with me as we cover 3 questions, 2 toys, and 1 lesson. Lakihan natin yung slide. Ayan siya. Okay. Yes, this is your OT Cesar, your online occupational therapist, your child's online playmate, and your chief growth officer. Let's go to 3-2-1 grow. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, so just feel free to type din sa comment box natin. I'm gonna be with you tonight and pag-usapan natin yung mga questions nyo pa, especially that nag-focus tayo on the Smart Kid program in the past weeks. So meron pa tayong mga questions na hindi pa nasasagot doon sa inbox natin. That's why we're covering this together para tayong lahat sabay-sabay mag-usap about it. And then, ayan. I'm just happy we're spending time together. Let's go again. 3-2-1 grow. We have 3 questions, 2 toys, and 1 lesson. Yes, so before we start with the 3 questions, I just want to thank the parents who attended the Smart Kid program. So we have feedback here from Mommy Gladys. I also hope mas maraming parents will attend in the future. We have Mommy Gladys here. She's saying attended a 6-week learning program, How to Raise a Growth Child, the Smart Kid. So that's the first of our 3 series na seminar, and learn so much as a parent. It is really a wow and fun experience as we enter a little bit inside the occupational therapist world. It is such a blessing to know Teacher Cesar. Thank you so much, Mommy Gladys. He's very passionate in helping parents and kids to achieve their goal. I wish I enrolled in this kind of program way back so I could have understand more and gave much needed help for my child. I think knowing the foundations needed for learning, sensory integration, focus attention, gross and fine motor skills. We have routine training and ADLs. balik tayo, are the most important things every parent should understand. I can't say that after this program, I will be an instant smart parent that can change my daughter. But I know in my heart that by being a part of this program and giving all my heart and effort every day to help my child are more than enough. We can both learn and grow one step at a time through lessons I carried in my heart. Somehow all my whys and hows for my child holds an answer. Thank you, Teacher Cesar. The world needs more people like you. And thank you so much, Mommy Gladys, for trusting growth and joining the program. So we're gonna have that one months, yung next run yan, months. But I'm just really happy. Just want to share how happy I am with how successful the program was. Kasi I think working as an occupational therapist, I'm in my 7th year na. Sometimes a lot of concepts are already automatic sa akin. I mean, the way I understand kids and work with children, parang reflex na for me when dealing with them, when dealing with behaviors, with understanding why they're crying, why they're not following, bakit nagno-know yung kid, ayaw sumunod. So it's a lot more automatic and parang easier for me as it's part of my job. Pero when I was covering all the concepts and the topics there, na kakatuwa lang na, oh, itong part pala na to, that's why it's easy for me kasi I have an understanding and a different perspective compared to the parents. So when we talk about it, we tried to dig deeper about the sensory behaviors, yung mga sensory concerns nila with their children, and also looking at the routine. So the goal of the program was really to make it more long-term, yung changes. Hindi lang siya yung papasok kayo and then may malulearn, and then after the following week, wala na yung learning niyo. So that's why we really have the one-on-one coaching calls. And ayun lang, thank you. If there are parents who attended the seminar who are here now on the live, thank you so much for your trust. I had a really great time with you and excited na rin for the next run of the Smart Kid. But of course, kakatapos lang nun. kakatapos lang nun. So we're gonna look at the next part naman. So we're gonna cover muna 3 questions this time. So let's see yung first of our 3 questions. Yan. So question number 1, King, that's my nickname guys. Sa seminar din sa Behavior Management by Black Sheep, lahat sa video kasi King yung tawag sa akin, pero that's my nickname. I'm King to my family and friends. Yung medyo mas close to na friends kasi yan yung nickname ko sa bahay. So King, paano i-handle to yung kid magsasabi ng gusto, tapos pag sinabi mong no or wait lang, literal iiyak agad. Tatakbo sa kwarto or banyo, tas iiyak agad ng malakas sa sahig. As in, kakasabi mo lang ng no, wala pang 5 seconds, iiyak agad. So ano mas okay gawin? Hayaan lang umiyak or kausapin. So this is one of the concerns that we're gonna cover in Behavior Management by Black Sheep. Also very important in OT, in occupational therapy na consultation. Kasi of course, managing the behavior, yung goal mo is makarating dun sa point where your child will comply, will follow instructions kasi you want to work on the skills, di ba? Yung skill development ng child natin in regards to participating in school, participating in tasks at home, including na yung self-care nila, yung EDLs like feeding, dressing, toileting, bathing, and in school naman yung mga listening to the teacher, following instructions, finishing worksheets, paying attention. So yung mga ganyan, sa level pa lang ng sensory concerns and also the behavior management natin, it causes lag or parang barrier ba if you have problems pa with the child's behavior, okay, yung pag-manage natin ng behavior and also how they participate in activities. So with this one, okay, this is very common in kids na lalo na kapag kaka-start pa lang nila mag-learn ng no, which is of course part of their development. But there also comes a point na alam mo na rin na sinasadya ng bata, di ba? Or nagiging problem na siya kasi sa lahat ng activities, okay, sa lahat ng activities, ayaw na talaga mag-participate or in this same example, umiiyak na talaga yung kid. So there's distress on the kid and also this, of course, causes distress on the parent. And kapag hindi kayo kalma or stress na kayo pareho, it's gonna make things worse lang talaga, di ba? So it's gonna cause more problems and palayo tayo ng palayo dun sa goal natin na mag-help mag-develop ng skills in our kids. So dito, when you look at this behavior, okay, same as what we'll do, same as how we're gonna cover it dun sa behavior management by a black sheep, we have to look at muna the causes and the why of a child's behavior. You have to break it down muna kung ano yung gusto niyang ma-achieve bale from that behavior. So here, based on this question alone, ang context na pinapakita sa atin is that it's generalized. It means na across maraming settings, hindi lang siya very specific na sa toy lang na to lumalabas yung no or yung iyak niya. Okay, ang pagkasabi is that sa lahat, okay, the moment na you say no, iiyak siya agad. Regardless of the toy, regardless of the setting, regardless of who is giving the no, para sa kid na to, iyak lang talaga siya kapag hindi niya nakuha yung gusto niya. Okay? So, we start there muna. So, what's good is that it's clear kung ano yung gusto ng child. So, at this point, dalawa yung pwedeng reasons. Number one is that the child is just starting to learn how to say no, and tinitignan niya kung paano ka mag-respond with it. Okay? So, kapag yung kids natin, they get to a stage where they want to establish independence, like in toddlers, di ba yung sinasabi natin terrible twos or terrible threes. So kapag nag-try na silang mag-establish ng independence from the parents, lahat ng activities na pwede mong mabigay, kahit minsan alam mong gustong-gusto niya yung toy or gustong-gusto niya yung activity, pero kapag inutusan mo na or ikaw na yung magsabi na, oh, let's play with this or let's do this, kapag nanggaling na sa'yo, halimbawa, yung initiative, magnuno na sila kaagad. Okay, so that's part of development. That's part of them establishing their independence. So kapag yung child ninyo andito sa age na to, it's good to rule out that one muna. Okay, kasi medyo mahirap. You have to learn, you have to teach your kid how to say no. Tapos, kapag nag-no na siya, syempre, you have to respond na, di ba, ang sabi mo, mommy or daddy, na kapag nag-no, dapat hindi gagawin or I should stop. So that means, if ako rin, I'm learning how to say no now, and I'm telling you no, dapat ikaw rin, hindi ka rin gagawa nun. So we should stop this. Di ba? So parang nag-learn lang sila with what you were teaching them. So that's part of their development. So yun yung isang reason na you have to rule out muna, galin mo muna, kasi you might be looking at it as if it's a problem, pero part pala siya ng development ng kid. Di ba? So, sige. So, after that one, after you rule out that possibility, you can already look at the situation. Okay, na pwedeng problem siya. Halimbawa with this, if it's really, titignan natin dito yung gano'n siya ka-generalize, if konting activities lang ba or lahat na talaga. And when in comparison to sa part lang siya ng development ng kid, kapag ka nagiging problematic kasi siya, kahit anong gawin mo or kahit ibigay mo na yung gusto niya or kahit na bumigay ka na, iyak pa rin siya ng iyak talaga, and then gusto niya lang talaga mag-no sa lahat, and it's stressing out the kid, it's also stressing you out, so you can already consider it as a problem that you have to target. Okay, so with this example, dito sa nagtatanong sa atin, literal na iiyak daw agad yung kid. Okay? So for this one, kung literal na iiyak agad, you have to see muna kung the very first thing that I check is gaano kalakas yung connection ko with the kid. Okay? Kasi kapag ka halimbawa, hindi pa sanay yung kid na sumunod sa'yo in a fun, like play na environment, play na setting, di ba, nagipaglaro siya sa'yo, you're going to suggest toys, tapos susunod siya sa'yo. Okay? So, kapag dun pa lang na setting, wala kayong setting na sumusunod siya in a playful, fun environment, you're gonna expect na in a stressful, mas structured, or kung saan kailangan niyang sumunod ng instructions talaga, you're gonna expect a lot of resistance from that kid. Okay? So, mas kung yung baseline ninyo is wala pa kayong connection dun sa fun, play experience, mas lalo kang mahirapan kapag nag-force ka or may binibigay ka ng instructions on your kid. So that's why you have to start with a baseline muna na marunong yung kid sumunod sa'yo in just a play context. That's why in BMBABS, we really start with a phase na mag-build ka muna ng connection. You have this special time muna with your kids. That's part of the steps that we're gonna teach in behavior management by a black sheep. And also, start with play-based muna and transitioning towards a more structured approach. Okay? So this is more difficult with children na hirap din with play. We have kids na hirap with connecting with you during play. So hirap with eye contact, hirap with attention, hirap with imitation or joint attention. Yung sa social skills na pansin niyo yung ibang kids na kapag ka nakikipaglaro, they play with a toy and then they show the toy to you. Yung parang pinapresent nila yung toy or pinapakita sa inyo kung paano laruin yung toy, how it works. When they press it, may sound, ipapakita nila sa iyo and then they do it again or they laugh at the toy with you or parang joint kayo, sabay kayong maglaro. It's a lot more difficult to establish kapag kayong kids ninyo hirap pa at that point. Okay? Kasi you really have to start with that connection muna in a play-based na manner before you go towards the no part. Okay? So yun yung kailangan mo na ma-establish. And then once you have that one, ita-transition mo na siya towards compliance. Yung magbibigay ka na ng instructions and then dapat magawa niya within a set amount of time. Okay? And then gagawa ka na rin ng strategies kapag sumunod siya and kapag hindi siya susunod para ma-learn ng kid kung ano yung tama na response based on your reaction din. Okay? So, we're gonna teach that one din sa behavior management kung kailan ka magbibigay ng reinforcement ng response. Kasi I know, di ba, yung situations natin na I have to be patient with my kid, I have to dapat extend talaga, and then tumagal, nare-reach talaga yung limit natin or yung limit ng patience natin and bibigay, dun ka na magagalit, lalabas yung stress mo, and ganyan. So you have to learn how to time, learn how to give yung reinforcement. Kasi I know we read a lot of the what, like ano yung reinforcement, what's positive, what's negative, ganyan. But what's more important than the what is when you apply it. Kasi yung timing kung kailan mo ibibigay yung reinforcement makes it a lot easier for your kid to attach the reinforcement with the behavior na gusto mong i-target. Okay? So yung mga ganyan na mag-know yung kid, you have to know paano ka rin mag-respond at a specific situation, kung kailan ka magbibigay ng room for your kid to process, and also kailan ka dapat immediate or agad-agad magbigay ng reinforcement para mas madali ma-learn ng kid natin. Okay, so ano pa yung factors here? So you have the connection already, you already have the compliance part, but dito, hindi pa yung automatic na matatarget tong problem na to. Okay, so we have a lot of other factors pa na pwede tignan. So tapos pag sinabi mong no or wait lang, literal na iiyak agad, I have a last suggestion na very useful for this type of problem, and that is kapag kayong kids natin marunong na mag-request, pag nagsa-start tayo ng therapy, the first thing that we are taught is to teach kids how to make requests, di ba? Anong pinapasabi is give me blank, di ba? So give me blank. So give me toy, give me food, give me candy, give me pencil, give me ganyan. So when they make requests, so it's good na you're teaching your kid how to communicate instead of crying, instead of throwing a tantrum, instead of showing yung ganito na behavior. Okay? You want to teach them more appropriate na alternatives. Okay? So, ang mangyayari dito, if your kid already knows how to make that request, you want to shift towards, can I please have blank? Okay? You can observe the difference dun sa give me blank versus can I please have blank, di ba? Kasi when you say give me blank, kapag tinuturo natin sa kid natin, the way we teach it is sinasabi natin na if you say give me toy, I will hand it to you. Tama? And while you're teaching that language or communication goal to your kid, syempre ikaw din, since yun yung rule na na-establish natin, every time they say it, dapat i-hand natin over, right? Now, kapag yung kid natin na-learn na niya at that stage, yung the way you level up is you want to shift it towards, can I please get blank? Or can I please have blank? Para ma-learn ng kid na they have to wait for your yes or no response. Right? Yes, so yes or no response. Kasi sa give me, dapat ibigay mo talaga agad, no question, right? Kasi you want to target the communication goal. But this time, you want to teach them to wait for the yes or no. And then kapag yes, you say thank you. And then kapag no, they have to regulate muna their behavior and their emotions. Paano ba nila paano ba nila i-conduct yung sarili nila na nag-no si mommy or nag-no si daddy? Hindi ko nakuha yung gusto ko. What do I do about it? Di ba? So you have to teach them how to wait, how to respond. Okay, na nag-no ka, hindi niya nakuha yung gusto niya. So anong problem solving na gagawin niya after? Okay, so ang ibig sabihin ba nung no, kailangan niya pang may gawin muna before they get it? Or may kailangan ba sila munang ma-collect na, halimbawa, if you're using tokens, na number of times bago niya makuha yung gusto niya? Or absolutely hindi talaga to pwede makuha kasi it's dangerous, it's harmful, ganyan. Okay, so merong ganun na processing yung kid natin na, oh, if yes, I can get it. If no, I have to follow and then wag ko muna kukunin. Okay? So, para dito pa lang na point, kapag yung kid natin, hindi pa siya na-master yung ganyang level, we can already practice that one muna na skill na mag-control siya ng emotions niya and mag-respond appropriately. Okay? Sige. So, that's it. And after that one, when you go through that step, yun na yung last one for that one, you want to extend naman yung waiting time nila bale pagkatapos nung goal na yun. Okay? So here, wala pang 5 seconds, iiyak agad. So you want to teach those skills, cover muna all those bases before you expect your kid to really follow. Okay, so for this one, you go back to the very foundation of the connection, yung pagsunod niya sa'yo sa play, and lastly, yun, yung pag-understand niya ng communication goals. Okay, and yes, all of that one, step by step, we're gonna cover all of that one in behavior management by Black Sheep. Yes, we are opening batch 2 of behavior management by Black Sheep. Yes, we're gonna show the poster at the end, pero the link is right down there, dun sa ticker natin sa baba of our live video, and I'll show muna our second question. Ayun, medyo mas mahaba siya. Yep, and we'll check muna some of our comments. Ayan, before we go to our second question. Hello po, hello. Ayan, Mommy J. Ranieses. We have Mommy Kat, Mary. So, hindi ko po nakikita if maybe that's a GIF yung comment po ninyo. I can't see yung GIF. Can you please give more details and knowledge about pediatrics? Yes, but we have videos on YouTube. We also have some details we just resumed yung live videos natin because again, we focus on the Smart Kid program. We've said last time, lahat ng focus muna ng growth would go to that parent training. But right now, since we're done already with the program, we can resume na having our live videos. Sana merong CPD units according to BMBABS. She's an OT, she's a fellow OT. Then this is yung behavior management is a parent program. So right now, hindi pa siya namin in-apply for CPD under the OT program. But we're working on it. We still haven't registered yet growth as a CPD. We're working on it, and we're also designing na professional courses para ma-target. Meron kaming programs na ma-provide for parents and also ma-continue yung programs din for professionals in the future. Yes. Hello, good evening, Daddy J. Chris, ayan. And we have a question from Mommy Katrina. Hi, good evening po. Okay lang ba na aba ang ABA, ang therapy ni LO kahit OT po ang sabi ni DevPed? Thank you po. Hindi na po kasi namin siya mailipat kasi sa teacher lang niya po siya sumasama sa iba pong teacher. Ayaw niya, 3 years old na po ang LO ko. Isa rin po kasi yung center na refer nila DevPed. Kaya doon ko rin siya naipasok kasi doon ang may available slot nun. So I think you can, when you watch our videos po and also see your program there, you can compare naman. I think what I can best talk about would be the strengths and the process of what OT can do for your child. And then EBA can also do the same for theirs. But there will be differences, of course, dun sa approaches and also with the type of, the way we do interviews. But given na your child is responding well to that specific teacher, so and if you could see na there's development, there's progress bale in the way that your child works with that EBA therapist for now, then I think that you can continue that one. And if you have very specific concerns na po, like you're managing towards behaviors na yung causes na more on the sensory integration approach, or maybe you could use kapag older na yung kid with a cognitive behavioral approach, and you could use, in different situations na medyo contextual. Ibig sabihin, yung tinuturo niyo na po would be social skills na and kung paano niya i-apply yung specific behaviors in specific social situations, then maybe you could also work with both in the future. So you could continue working with that therapist since you're getting a lot of progress and good yung connection nila, good yung rapport, and then you can add more concerns pa regarding your child's development. I think you can get feedback din naman since you have your DevPed. You can also get feedback if meron pang specific concerns that an OT could target better, or if you want, going towards social skills and play skills, also yung executive functions ng kid. That includes already po yung prioritization, decision making, planning, yung problem solving skills bale ng kids natin, time management. So, and also depending on a specific program that your OT could provide. So it's also best when you look for an OT to match your current therapist. You could also consider would be ano yung mga specific approaches na pwede nila ma-provide. Kasi kung titingnan ng DevPed po ninyo na, for example, i-show ko na lang yung question para yung sa mga kakapasok pa lang. So for example, if your kid has specific concerns on handwriting, then you can have an OT who is trained in handwriting without tears, learning without tears, or another program. You could have problems with reading, so you could have yung mga people trained with, merong mga SPED teachers na specialized for reading. You can also have OTs trained in yung mga Orton Gillingham na approaches. So merong very specific programs. So depending on what you see is the main concern of your child, and you want to look for a therapist na mas nag-specialize, then you could go with that approach. Okay, so you can maximize the benefits you have with your current therapist, given that they have a very strong connection, so that's good. And then try to see na lang po in the future if you have specific concerns with your child na pwedeng matulungan pa nung OT ninyo in the future. Ayan. Okay. And hello, Mommy Michelle. Welcome to our live. And we have Lex. Shout out, Lex. Yes. She's a OT. Hi, good evening, Lex. Here we have, sige, so we have more questions here, pero let's go muna sa slides natin na yung questions natin bale. Okay, question number 2 muna tayo. We have here, ayan, kasi ito came from our inbox. Hello, good morning. Gusto ko lang po sanang magtanong kung possible may autism baby ko. He can look you straight in the eyes, but he has speech delays. When he was still a baby around 9 to 12 months, or before he gets 2, he can still pronounce words, but as days go by, he cannot already say any words. He can only pronounce mama and papa. He is already 3 years old now. When he is happy, he keeps teach him on the bus, gagayahin kanya. He keeps counting his fingers paulit-ulit. He can play with other children, pero saglit lang, mas gusto niyang asawa. Mas gusto niyang nasa kwarto playing with his toys. Gusto ko lang po sanang mag-ask because we still don't have that enough budget para ipa-check and ipa-OT yung baby ko. Thank you, sana po mapansin ninyo. Yes, Mommy, you have my entire attention now, and we're gonna talk about your concern. For this one po, Mommy, with autism, it's a spectrum. Okay, so yung mga symptoms natin or nababasa on the internet, and also kung may pina-follow tayo na Mommy with a child with autism, it follows the same rule na if you know one child with autism, you only know one child with autism. So what that means is kung every child with autism is really a unique individual, it means na the way that he is autistic is different from another child who is autistic. Okay, so that's why I'm saying this because you're saying na merong wala naman siyang problems with looking straight in the eyes, and then may nawawala lang na words. Okay, so in this will come from a developmental pediatrician. It could be a child neurologist. or somebody who has training po in using a diagnostic tool na pangbigay talaga ng diagnosis of autism. So OTs, for occupational therapists, that's already beyond our scope. And we really say that when we talk with parents, now we're not allowed to give a diagnosis. And for this one, for your specific situation, kahit na meron pong, halimbawa, merong parts dyan where you say na nag-learn yung kids natin ng words and then nawala, or right now, mama and papa lang na, or yung word niyang sabihin, the DevPed will still use specific standardized assessments. Ibig sabihin, they really have to go through testing. They will conduct testing to see if na-meet po ng child ninyo yung criteria for a diagnosis of autism. Okay? So, just me reading this case, even a doctor, a developmental pediatrician reading this, yung message ninyo, they still cannot give a diagnosis of autism kasi it has to be standardized. So that means they need to see your child, they need to interact with your child, or see videos of your child, review yung performance of other kids. So that would include also taking in your child's history, kung paano yung development niya bali ng language, ng skills across a variety of domains. So yun, kasama po dun yung language communication, especially the way they interact with other people, and also yung mga behaviors na rin po. If merong concerns with sensory, yun yung behavioral concerns, or repetitive play, so they're gonna see that. And hindi lang yun, they also have to measure it if they meet yung criteria bale for that diagnosis. So right now, yung case natin is that we still have a hard time getting an OTS using muna a problem-based approach. That means you want to see muna, look through a lens of ano yung strengths ng child ninyo and ano yung weaknesses niya at this point. Okay, and then you can start muna kung saan siya pinakahirap talaga. So that includes, halimbawa, with that one, dun sa language part, you have mama and papa, and also yung play niya with other kids, kasi preferred niya muna yung solitary play or mag-isa lang. Okay, so you want to compare it muna with the same age peers, and then titignan ninyo kung ano yung with your kid. So the way you search it muna is not on OT strategies or strategies to improve my kid or ganyan, yung generalized. You want na yung search ninyo online, since there are free naman talaga na information. Okay, kapag hindi pa natin kaya yung budget for professional na services. So you want to be more specific about it. So how to teach my child on handwriting, how to teach my child on playing with other kids or introducing sensory play, pretend play, ganyan. So mas specific siya. So you can get an idea, and then yun muna yung i-target natin with your kid at this point na hindi services. Okay, so para hindi kayo ma-overwhelm, and hindi din siya parang yung idea ninyo is that hindi kayo ma-overwhelm bale with the information. Okay? So you want to target muna something more specific, and then try to see how your child responds with you. Yung build ulit yung connection. Try to see how your child learns. So you want to look at your child's learning style and also your teaching style in managing behavior and also teaching skills then with your kid. Now, for this one po, in this specific case, you really need, I think, your doctor would hindi would see na halimbawa with your specific situation, possible na they might give a diagnosis of communication delay if nakita ng doctor na okay naman yung development ng child ninyo with other domains. Ibig sabihin, okay siya with self-care, okay siya with gross motor, fine motor, okay siya halimbawa with cognitive skills, and then delayed lang talaga on the communication part. So pwedeng hindi autism ang ibigay na diagnosis, pwedeng communication impairment or something, another diagnosis na ibibigay sa child ninyo, or a communication delay, or kapag okay yung communication niya, ibang diagnosis yung ibibigay. Okay, like social pragmatic disorder. Basta may mga specific criteria na kailangan ma-meet before you get that diagnosis. But for now, ayun po, you can work muna with very specific problems and concerns, and then work your way up towards yung pag-build na ng participation niya in school in general, and also yung sa bahay and leading towards in public. Ayun po. And then, going towards the next problem, dun sa, wait lang, dun sa language development po, meron din specific diagnosis for that one na na-learn nung kid. More testing to do with that one. Kasi ang mangyayari po kasi with this one, there are so many reasons that as to why it's happening. Possible na your doctor would consider na may seizures na nangyayari. That's why your child is learning and then mawawala. They would consider that. They could also consider a diagnosis na meron ding syndrome po na ganyan. Halimbawa, mag-learn yung kid and then mawawala and then merong intellectual disability and then merong mga hand-wringing na repetitive. So, that's another syndrome. So, mag-stop na ako kasi there are many possibilities. That is why it needs na yung parang professional advice talaga. When you get a diagnosis po, it's not like, it would help you talaga with identifying kung ano yung needs ng child ninyo. Kasi halimbawa, you might be considering autism, pero sasabihin ng doctor niyo na, hindi siya autism, it's this diagnosis. So, it's clearer for you in knowing kung ano yung problems talaga na pwede niyong matarget with your kid, and mas mabilis din yung progress ninyo kasi you're not second guessing anymore with ano yung possible na nagko-cause ng difficulties with your child. So yun muna, problem-based approach. The next best thing is to follow yung Facebook page, developmental pediatricians. They meron din Thera-free na programs. There are free programs. You could also ask for your LGU, your local government unit, yung city hall ninyo or municipal hall for programs regarding this, because meron namang ibang cities and municipalities na meron ng program na magsa-set up sila ng clinics or mission, yung mga yung free programs bale na pupunta yung mga professionals in this specific area, and they hold for a couple of days or a week na service diagnosis and also recommendations for your child. So ayan. Okay. Sige. Good evening, Ate Arian and Mommy Arian. We also have Mommy Katrina. Thank you po. Thank you din po. We have OT Joshua. Good evening, Joshua. Welcome to our live video. Okay. Yes, we still have a question here from Mommy Eileen naman. Hi, Teacher Cesar. Meron pa akong 9-year-old son with mild autism. Ang problem sa kanya, yung behavior, mahilig siya manginis ng kalaro. Hindi niya titigilan hanggat hindi iiyak. Paano po ba mawawala yung ganun na ugali niya? Paano rin ba siya dapat disiplinahin? For this one, Mommy, I will precious kasi nasa lying, how to address a kid who's always telling a lie. So for this one po, we will target this one at a surface level dun sa behavior management by a black sheep. And what that means is we have to consider po kasi yung entire context of where and when a behavior happens. So we're gonna cover that one sa behavior management by a black sheep kasi we need to look at the entire situation of why a behavior is happening. Okay, so hindi lang siya halimbawa lying and then you know it's bad. So every time you lie, we're gonna punish. Or every time you tell the truth, okay? So what we're gonna look at is a more holistic approach, a more parang we're gonna look at the entire situation muna so that we can teach our kids on how to break down, okay, na sila na din mismo yung makaka-understand as to why the behavior is a problem. Of course, even for us adults, di ba? The way we solve a problem, the very first step is to acknowledge na it's a problem. And for these kids, for example, yung kids natin naglalay or naiinis, okay, nang-iinis sila ng other kids, we have to consider ano yung nakukuha nila out of it. Kasi, for example, yung kid natin right now, nang-iinis siya ng ibang kids. Okay, they find it rewarding kasi nakuha nila yung gusto nila. Okay, we have to process that one with our kid. We have to break it down muna na, ito pala yung hinahanap niya bale from this play. Okay? So, we have to help our kids look na, for example, ito yung play niya for now. Right? Yung play niya is mang-iinis and they want to get a reaction out of the other kid. And so, when they get that reaction, yun yung reward para sa kanya, right? So ito, hindi lang siya sa behavior na approach kasi we have to use mas higher level pa na social skills training bale and also a cognitive behavioral approach na mas higher level pa siya kid, okay, to look at the situation sa perspective ng ibang tao. That's a lot harder to teach, right? Pero yung kid natin is already 9 years old. I'm not sure about the age of Mommy Precious's child, pero usually naman yung telling a lie is also comes in with older kids. So I'm gonna use that same approach. Natitingnan muna natin yung effect din ng behavior nila, social behaviors, play behaviors nila with other people. Okay, now, meron ding steps on how to teach this to our kids kasi given na our kid has autism, possible na meron thoughts and feelings din yung ibang tao that is separate from them. Okay? Kasi if yung kid natin, they're looking at it from a perspective na they just want to, have fun in the play, they want to enjoy the interaction, pero they don't consider na, nasasaktan na pala yung ibang kid or ayaw na pala nila yung behavior ko or ayaw na nila yung ginagawa ko bale, then I have to change my approach, I have to change the way I'm playing with them, and then try to employ new strategies to play with other kids, but at the same time still have fun. Okay, kasi yung goal niya for this one, yung idea niya of fun ng ibang when he gets it, rewarding for him. So we have to introduce him to other types of play kung saan makita niya na, oh, hindi ako nangiinis ng ibang bata, but still nag-enjoy pa rin ako. So parang ganun yung processing na mangyayari bale. Paano siya mawawala? You have to break it down po yung behavior. You have to teach po talaga muna yung ability niya to know na merong feelings yung ibang tao, merong thoughts na iba yung other people. Kasi they start with a perspective na kung ano yung thoughts and feelings nila kids kapag toddlers pa lang. Okay, so what their thoughts are, what their feelings are, is true for everyone, and we all start at that area of development. Okay, kahit merong autism or not, we go through that stage. But of course, as we grow older, we understand na, meron din pala siyang feelings. Oh, yung mga thoughts ko pala, yung opinions ko, it's different from other people's opinions. And even if we experience the same exact situation, or even if we're going through the same exact experience, the way I interpret it is different from the way you interpret it. And you have different thoughts, different. So that's a level that you have to teach muna your kid before you break down the social situation and then try to see na, and then before you process this situation pabalik. Okay? So parang marami siyang steps na kailangan i-teach. And when you're sure na na-establish na po yun with your kid, that's when you can break down social situations already. Okay? Sige. So, yung program po natin, we have the smart kid, the kind kid, and the strong kid. Yung concern niyo po actually is under the kind kid that teaches empathy, emotional regulation, mental health ng kids. Actually, next year pa po siya i-launch natin. But yes, it's a higher level pa po of behavior for kids. Kasi yun niya, i-consider na niya bale yung feelings and thoughts ng ibang tao. But yes, we go through that. Same thing din po with lying na ang difference siguro with lying is that when a child lies, they already have the understanding that other people have different thoughts and different perceptions and different feelings, because that's why they lie. They understand that they can influence the thoughts and feelings of other people. But of course, the same thing, you break it down, the lying itself na sa kanya na na gusto niya, yung rewarding sa kanya just to lie, or meron ba siyang gain na makukuha from the lying? So you have to break it down with your kid. And also, you can also try to look at try to understand when and where it started. Kasi possible na halimbawa, di ba, you told the truth and then merong negative consequence and associate na niya, oh, if I tell the truth, ito pala mangyayari. So that's why I should avoid it. So you have to, medyo marami siyang kailangan i-break down bale with our kids. and you want to with you could work with a psych already if older na yung kid, try to break down yung situation as to why it started, when it started, also yung motivation ng kid bale, yung reason niya behind why they're doing this. But ultimately, it already includes an understanding of other people kasi lying involves a social situation, tama? So ayun siya. So mas kailangan ng mas mahabang processing bale when you work on this one with your kid. Sige. Can you cite what city? Actually, for now, for sure na niraran is Quezon City. I don't have an idea about other cities yet. I'm sure, alam ko palang in development pa yung ibang cities with their programs. But Quezon City, I can search for Windows. I really forgot the name, but they have this sa City Hall nila. The last I heard from this is Quezon City has allots 1% of their budget to that center. And Caesar Lucas, there were two OTs who work with that center, pero they have those services, and that's actually one seeing vision natin as a community and also as a country sa Philippines. Now we have more cities who are open to supporting, to allotting budgets nila into therapy services, support services, for special education, for OT, for speech therapy, na merong budget talaga allotted for children with special needs or people with disabilities in general, hindi lang for our children but for adults as well. But Quezon City is one I'm sure of na merong ganyang program. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Ayan. Thank you din, Mommy Eileen. We have, hello, Mommy Gay. Ayan. Hello, Gay. What do our, yes, this time we can already go na to our third question. Here. Ayan. So I'm adding this question because this is the number one question na hindi ko po talaga nasasagot sa inbox natin. Hello sir, may I ask kung nakikiter po kayo ng online therapy with the kids po? Salamat. Yes, we are catering. We are opening our slots pa for online therapy. We have very limited slots because right now it's only me, yung OT under growth, and the yet open to other OTs yet. We're still planning to invite other OTs to be under growth, and you can see later sa behavior management black sheet. We're open to connecting pa with other OTs into going through the growth program din because as you could see, merong differences, merong process na iba din the way I work with kids. And gusto ko na when I refer or when I work with an OT under growth, then we want to be on the same page and use the same approach then that I use with my kids. Okay, kasi of course, it's true. In the same way that each child is an individual, meron siyang sariling strengths and weaknesses. And that's why very important as I keep repeating yung connection. Kasi of course, yung therapists din natin, lahat ng OTs, iba-iba din ng style and approach, right? So I also have my own approach. Other OTs also have their own approach kung saan ka comfortable because we also have to consider yung strengths natin and weaknesses. So meron din ganun as a factor yung OT, right? So that's why right now, lahat pa lang po ng slots is on me. We have Tuesdays to Fridays, and then we're also opening yung but limited lang yung area ko po within NCR. Actually, very limited pa in Taguig and Makati. But we will respond next week. We're starting to have yung the schedule ready para lang mas ma-open pa namin yung slots for this one. And we're already in the process of selecting OTs rin. So if you have OTs, if there are OTs na listening to the live, just tell me if you want to work with growth, if you're open to going through a training process and also get to talk as to the approach that we're going to use with kids. Kasi I think I deal with kids na sobrang laki ng binibigay kong importance with the relationship, going towards compliance and skill development. So before I also refer yung OTs to the parents, I want to make sure na we're following, that flow, and para ma-make sure ko rin syempre na we're using the growth process then when dealing with the kids who try to join the program. Ayan. Okay. Thanks, Mommy Louise, and thank you, Daddy J, and thank you, and also thank you then for being here tonight. Okay, I think we're done already with our 3 questions. Wala na rin tayong follow-up questions sa live, sa comments natin, bale. And let's go now to our 2 toys. Actually, yung toy po natin today, gusto ko lang talaga siyang laruin. So it's just one toy tonight. And matagal ko na talaga siyang gustong ma-play. And naghanap lang ako ng time kasi ang reason why I didn't play with it yet is because I wanted to shoot a reel. Okay, yung parang yung for Instagram or TikTok na video. And sa YouTube natin. Pero this is the dino fossil na dig kit. Di ko pa siya nagagamit with any of my kids kasi babalik pa lang ako in the coming weeks to home therapy. And of course, dahil isang kit lang siya, gusto ko rin talaga siya malaro personally. Sorry kids. Pero kaya ko na tinira para lang malaro ka talaga siya. Matagal ko na siyang gusto wala ito lang picture, gusto ko lang talaga siya malaro na sige, kunan ko na nga link ng video. Okay. But while I'm playing with this toy, or if you have any toys, if you also have a toy that I want to review, meron tayong toy pala dun sa YouTube channel na comment, yung triangle. We're gonna talk about that one. Yung toys na gusto niyo i-review, we can break it down into the skills that will be targeted and also the type of activities that you can do with that one. But for now, ako lang talaga maglalaro with this one. Gusto ko lang talaga siya. Promise, months na to, gusto ko na talaga siya i-open. 9 pesos from Kingdom. Ayan. Okay, video na natin para okay. And we're gonna go na rin to our one lesson while I'm playing with this toy. And para background natin yung live. Say hi! Okay. Sige. So, yung open natin. Actually, ako lang nag-enjoy, no? Pero, tagal ko na talaga siyang gustong matignan. Okay. And while I'm shooting a video for this one, and meron din yung kit inside. Yun. Okay. And I love this one kasi it works on fine motor skills. And actually before that, right now I'm working kasi summer na, 'di ba? I have this summer program that I do with my kids. Na I work on their executive function skills. So what I do, I think the OTs could also use this one. The OTs in the live could use this one. Masaya siya kasi in the summer. In other months kasi, what I do is ako yung pipili ng activities. I plan out the activities. I do it with the kids, targeted towards the goal that we set. Pero during planning, so what we do is we have this document. Okay, we have a file na we choose activities. So hahanap kami online. So we're gonna look at crafts for kids. So search kami ng sabay. And then pipili siya. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And it depends on the kids' interest. Ano yung likes niya talaga yung pipiliin namin. So siya yung pipiliin ng activity. And then once we have this selection of activities, okay, so makikita mo yung difference talaga ng each kid kasi I have a kid na gusto niya talaga unicorn. So lahat ng activities namin, we have a unicorn paper plate craft, we have a unicorn cupcake, we have a unicorn puro unicorn yung activities namin. I also have a kid na mahilig naman with mga pirates and mga yung ocean life. So yung mga activities namin, sensory kit na focus on making the sea and playing with sea animals and then making rainbow rice na blue and then i-mix namin with slime. Sobrang saya. So, ang saya niya lang kasi iba-iba yung nagagawa. I have a kid then before na I had to teach the piano kasi interested siya with musical instruments. So piano kami on that day. I had to learn how simple songs to teach kids playing piano. So Mary had a little lamb. So naging pianist ako for naging anak kung ano-ano na lang. So, it's fun lang kasi mag-breakdown mo din yung activity. So, what we do is we break it down to materials and steps. So, by materials, kailangan i-prepare muna ng kids. So, we have to search, di ba? Halimbawa, unicorn craft. So, we're gonna search unicorn paper plate. So, what materials do you need for a unicorn paper plate? So, lilista namin, paper plate, scissors, glue, cotton, glitter, we have stickers, we have colored paper, markers, ganyan. So, ililista namin yung materials. This is very useful for kids with ADHD or kids na may kids na gustong gumawa pero hindi organized yung play nila. Like, they want to start already in the middle of play, mag-jump to the next task. And then, magsa-stop muna kasi, ay, may kulang ako na material. So, mag-stop muna. And then, hirap na bumalik dun sa task or tapusin yung task. Okay, hindi lang to for kids, even for adults, di ba? Yung ang haba ng break mo, yung work time mo, sobrang haba ng break time, yung work time sobrang short. And hirap ka bumalik dun sa pag-start ng study mo, study time or work time, di ba? So, you have yung concerns doon would be initiation, organization, prioritization, planning, time management. So, executive functions talaga siya na. So, if they have all the materials ready, okay, that means they're good na to go to start the activity. Okay? Sige. So, here, we have this one. So, for example, with this one, halimbawa, ito na activity. So, we're gonna list down, we need magnifying glass, we need this, ang tawag dito, excavation tools, and we have the dinosaur specimen and one dig brick. So this is the dig brick. So ganyan, so i-check. So dig brick, check namin yung lista. So you have there's a unicorn paper plate, check. Lalagay namin in a material box. So we use the checklist, so which is good for the way they organize, the way they plan, the way they prioritize the next session. So that means you don't have halimbawa, you don't have glitter or you don't have paper plates. So what do we do about it? So that means you have to ask mommy or daddy to help you buy the material or you go to the mall and buy this one. So para mas ano talaga siya, contextual, mas problem-solving na approach talaga with your kids. And syempre, masaya din siya. Mas mataas din yung level niya of participation kasi gusto niya yung activity, di ba? Yes. Okay, so, ayan. And I know also, they have a guide. Mamaya, babasahin ko to. I also like this one kasi dinosaurs. A lot of my kids love dinosaurs. And if you have a lot of unicorn, so what I do is I search for fun facts about unicorns. Or pag may kid ako na mahilig with dinosaur, you really have to learn the names of the dinosaurs. Yung mga Stegosaurus, Mosasaurus, Tyrannosaurus, yung mga, diba, mga T-Rex, Raptor. Kailangan mo malaman or ano yung mga tawag ng body parts ng mga Triceratops, mga Bronchosaurus. Para naman may ambag ka sa play ng kid mo, di ba? So, sasali ka muna sa play niya before you lead to your gusto na play. So, dapat marami kang alam na si animals, marami kang alam na mga planets. Di ba yung mga kids natin, pag na-interest with solar system, alam nila saan yung mga Saturn, ilan moons ni Jupiter. So, para ano din, makita niya rin na nag-learn ka about their play. Okay? So, ayan. So, open na natin. We have a question muna here from Mommy Michelle. Ano po kaya pwedeng gawin? Kasi yung kid ko para laging nakakalimot. For example, kumuha siya ng bottled water sa ref. Then, nilagay niya sa table. Then, mamaya iinom siya. Kukuha na naman sa ref. Open ko lang. Then, ilalagay niyo ulit sa table. Then, ganun ulit. Minsan din, sa pag-writing niya, ganun din. For example, magsusulat siya ng letter G. Then, mali yung letter G niya. Erase niya yun. Then, ganun. Magsusulat siya ng letter G. Then, mali yung letter G niya. I-erase niya yun. Then, ganun ulit ang gagawin niya. May mali ulit sa letter G niya. Then, i-erase niya ulit. Then, mali pa rin yung gagawin na letter G. Parang, hindi niya po ba na-stop? Yung gagawin niya sa letter. Hindi niya po ba hindi nakita? Ano yung next? Makakabitin naman yung po. Hindi nakita yung continuation. Ayan. Okay, sige, let's break it down muna kasi dalawa yung problems din kanina. Nakakalimutan yung water. Nagkuha ng water sa ref. Tapos yung letter G pa ulit-ulit. We'll start muna with the letter G. Kasi kapag ganyan po, mommy, it means hindi niya pa talaga na-develop yung pag-write ng letter G. The good thing there is may awareness of errors yung kid natin and very good yung frustration tolerance. Hindi siya nagagalit kahit paulit-ulit. Okay? Kahit paulit-ulit dun sa pag-write ng letter G. So good kayo on the error identification. Pag-correct niya ng errors, that's also good. Behavior part, that's also good. What you can do po is you really have a session or a time when you target yung pag-write ng letter G. So you could use yung parang magic turn left. So you could use that sequence. So you could have words po bale or guides or a song to help write letter G. So you could search po sa YouTube song for letter G or yun yung ginagamit ko. Magic C muna kasi di ba si G, si D, si letter C, si O din nagsa-start with the C curve. Tama? So si letter G, yung magic C, go up and then down, turn left. So para hindi lang po siya, hindi lang siya yung worksheets yung practice niya with the letter G, meron siyang multi-sensory bale na feedback from you. So, andun yung song, andun yung practice, yung voice ninyo, yung words to attach, yung yun yung i-remember niya lang when working on letter G. So, I think that's a very specific problem that you're dealing with. You can also see po if merong concerns with letter P, letter Y, yung mga merong turn left or right, pwedeng J or U, yung mga ganyan na, or letter S and Z. If may concerns pa kayo with mga halimbawa, titingnan niyo po kasi yan if yung concern is reversals or pwedeng yung formation or yung sequence mismo nung paggawa nung letter, saan siya magsa-start, saan siya mag-end. So you have to target po talaga that one letter by letter para translate it towards words naman after. Now, dun sa bottled water po ninyo na concern, okay, dun sa bottled water, it's routine training. So this is one thing we target dun sa Smart Kid program naman. But for routine training, this one po, kailangan mo ma-attach, maturo sa kid na i-attach yung behavior of putting it back to where he gets things. Okay, so for example, ito, yung after drinking, dapat ituro mo po siya sa time na nag-drink siya. So you could have that session where you really work on that behavior para ang goal niyo po bale is to have your kid attach the behavior of putting back the bottle sa ref after drinking. Maglalagay nung picture sa ref just because nagutos kayo, but part na siya ng routine niya, okay? After drinking, ibalik talaga yung picture dun sa ref. So it's more of routine training na approach yung gagawin ninyo. So you could have, simulan ko na guys. What I do with my kids kapag po ganyan is you take a picture of the kitchen table or the sink or kung saan niya po nilalagay bale yung picture. Kasi what you want to do is show your kid the picture of a clean kitchen and then every time na iniiwan niya yung kitchen and then ano yung difference? Okay, the picture's there, that means hindi pa clean yung kitchen. So what do? So you put it back dun sa ref. Okay? So yun yung pwede yung approach na gagawin bale with your kid. But ultimately, the goal is basa na yung kid ninyo na after drinking, ilagay niya yung picture back dun sa ref kasi part na siya ng routine niya. Hindi dahil inuutusan niyo siya or meron kayong visual cue. So, yun yung dalawang approaches po na pwede niyo magawa bale. So, first one is target niyo po talaga with the routine. Ibig sabihin, after drinking water, ipalagay yung picture. Okay, so session 2, again, is use a picture as a cue. Okay, picture of your clean kitchen table, para pag nakita niya yon, ma-compare niya yung clean kitchen versus yung merong picture sa table. So with that, hindi na ulit kayo yung nag-utos, yung picture bale yung nagtuturo sa kanya na hindi ka patapos because hindi pa clean yung kitchen. Okay? So as you can see, the approach leads towards hindi kayo yung nag-utos sa kid kasi part na siya bale of what you expect na behavior from your kid. Okay? So yun yung I teach toys to improve gross motor skills. So we have an entire learning discussion po with that one for the Smart Kid. We have toy suggestions through there. We're still planning for videos pa for that one, but for now at home, you could use yung furniture po ninyo. So you could have yung bed, sofa, chairs for obstacle courses. You could have, ano pa ba? You could have yung mga slides, yun, yung mga playground equipment po bale. Slides, ano pa ba? Slides, yung swings for the grip part, monkey bars, yung mga carousel dun sa playground equipment. For specifics po for gross motor, you could go to yung mga sport shops talaga, pero merong kahit yung mga CrossFit training, yung mga pang-jumping na activities or mats that you could use to work on jumping, or balls for kicking, throwing, yung mga basketball toys, or the best po siguro na approach for now na mas functional would be to introduce your child to a sport, especially since summer na. At yun, lahat na with coordination, with balance, postural control, and then kasama na rin yung benefits for social skills. Ayan. Okay, so let's go now to our one lesson. Medyo nakatagalan na sa bibig pa lang ako. Pero masaya siya na laro. Wait lang, may brush pa pala. Ooh. Asan na? Ayan. So, asan na? See, that helps din with your kids with looking organizing tools. Ayan, so tinatanggal ko na siya. It has a brush. So, tatanggalin ko. Okay, and while I'm digging this dinosaur, I'm gonna go na to number 1. Okay, para we'll move on with our slides. Done already with 2 toys. And let's go now to our lesson. Okay. So yung one lesson po natin for tonight is to avoid a good cop, bad cop parenting strategy. Okay? So si good cop, bad cop parenting strategy, we're gonna explain why deeper dun sa behavior management, the black sheep natin na program. But ang important here to know, when you use a good cop, bad cop parenting strategy, cover muna natin what it means. Si good cop, bad cop na parenting strategy, ito yung kapag may behavior yung kid natin, isang parent would be the strict parent, that's the bad cop, so siya yung magpapunish, and merong parent na mas lenient or mas mabait, mas soft-spoken, ganyan. Okay, so siya yung good cop naman, na parang yung isa, ang gusto niyong mangyari is that siya yung magpapunish, okay, so you should avoid this kasi ito yung punish other parent na good cop na bibigay ng reward towards the good behavior. Now, the problem with the good cop, bad cop parenting strategy is that when I use it, when I teach this to parents, okay, managing behavior, one of the most important things I teach is dapat same ng strategy yung mom and dad or whoever the caregivers are dun sa kid. Kasi kapag may good cop, bad cop strategy kayo, what's going to happen is that you're teaching the kid na yung behavior niya pala, okay, yung reinforcement for it depends on the person they're dealing with. Okay, so yung learning bali na pupunta dun sa person, sa social aspect versus the behavior itself. Now, when you want to reinforce a behavior, when you want to teach if right or wrong yung behavior niya, you want the reinforcement to focus also on the behavior kung saan siya naka-attach. Okay, and hindi dun sa person na nagpro-provide ng reinforcement. Okay, kasi pag nasa isip na lang, oh, this parent, ito yung response niya, itong parent, iba yung response niya. So what's going to happen is that kapag nag-deal na sila with other adults, ibang relatives, ibang parents, ibang parents, syempre kayo lang parents. Pero when they're dealing with other therapists, other notice with a lot of kids na ganito yung strategy ng parents is that they learn, okay, how to read muna yung adult before they comply. What I mean by that is titignan muna nila if bad cop ba to na adult, strict ba to na adult, or mas lenient, mas good na adult. Okay? And kapag napansin nila na, oh, strict pala to na teacher, oh, mahirap to suwayin na teacher kasi strict siya, so I should be behave. Pero this teacher, parang madali lang siya lusutan or hindi siya ganun ka-consistent with the reinforcement, or mas mabait siya, what's going to kid will of course continue that behavior kasi alam niyang pwede palalusutan with this teacher hindi. So instead of teaching the child about the behavior, okay, again, that's working on the premise, okay, and it's true that children are really smart. They really read on those cues, okay, they read on the subtle cues na hindi natin sinasabi. So natuturo natin sa kid natin, okay, na yung behavior is, punishable or, pwedeng magbigay ng reward depending on the person. So, we want to avoid that one. Okay, we want to avoid that one kasi it means na yung concept na iba na, manipulative yung kid ko, or nilulusatan niya pag si ganitong parent, sumusunod lang siya sa ganitong parent. And to be honest, yun yung isa din sa pinakamahirap na cases na na-handle ko rin before. And until now, if hindi tugma yung approach bale ng isang parent dun sa other parent. Okay, so kapag hindi kayo same team. So the better strategy for this one, which I use then with which I recommend dun sa parents that I work with, would be to have the same response, the same approach. Okay, kung gaano ka firm yung isa, the other person has to try to necessarily strict or ganyan. We're gonna cover that one sa behavior management by a black sheep kung hindi ka comfortable with a strict approach or hindi ka firm or hirap ka pa with, with using that approach, or meron din parents na natural sa kanila na kapag ka yung kid nila hindi sumusunod diretso agad-agad, strict or firm agad or no or galit agad, di ba? So again, we're gonna cover that one sa behavior management by black sheep kasi when you manage a child, dapat hindi yung approach mo yung sinusunod bale. Okay, it has to be what your kid needs. So for with being firm, of course, if yung kid mo need niya na firm ka or mag-set ka ng boundary, you really have to like be that person na firm for your kid. Para kailan ma-set yung boundary, ito dapat no, dapat sunod ka. So kahit hindi ka comfortable with it, don't worry, it takes practice. Of course, our kids are in their growth journey. Meron silang, we help them develop a growth mindset and then they're still developing their skills. Ganun din tayo as parents and as therapists, di ba? So ako din before, I was very conscious about it na maging firm or ganyan. And later on, naging comfortable lang with my own. Ito pala yung kailangan i-change. I have to listen pala to the child talaga and what they need versus saan ako comfortable or saan ako mas naturally inclined as a therapist. Okay, as an adult working with children or kayo din as parents later on. Okay. So, yep. And then here, so again, we're gonna have that one. That is part of what we'll cover sa behavior management by a black sheep. But wait lang. Meron ako na-find na rock. Yay. Progress. Meron na guys. Look at that. So just to show you I think ito na yung dino poop kasi merong tatlo dapat. Dino poop, a tooth, and dino tooth, mosasaur tooth, dino poop, and dino bone. So yay. Okay, balik na tayo. Let's get back to work. Nawala tuloy yung poster. Okay, ito na. Mas na-excite sa to. Ayan po siya. Yung link natin. Bit.ly. It's a Bit.ly link. bit.ly/BMBABS. So that's BMBABS to register. Okay, so BMBABS to register at 2,499 pesos. We have an early bird promo. You will find it in the form. Okay, which is open until July, the 12th of July. It's already 2,499. Again, you can check the early bird promo doon sa natin, doon sa form mismo, and also later at the end. But here is the link. Ayan na din pala sa slide. So you can go there straight away. Behavior management by a black sheep, occupational therapy strategies for managing your child's challenging behavior. Is a 4-day program. We already include there yung Zoom recordings, okay, which is the number one request sa last natin. We've asked for your feedback. We will be giving Zoom recordings, okay, kapag na-skip ninyo yung learning session. And we are still working on the workbook that will come with the program because isa din yun sa feedback na from last time. Okay, so they want to focus on the listening and writing, okay, nung important notes versus nung pag-catch up dun sa lahat ng nasa slides. Okay, because again, we want term. Okay, that's why it's 4 days kasi there will be assignments at the end of the day na pwede nyo i-apply with your kid. So, we've also extended na rin yung time. Hindi lang siya 1.5 hours kasi last time we started ng 7:30 yung time. This time it will be at 7 o'clock para tapos na kayo mag-dinner, vale, and we're gonna have the night, okay, to yourselves lang. So we're gonna have, all parents, all therapists at night, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And we will make sure na makover lahat. We will also have more time din kasi last time nung 7:30 yung natatapos 9:30 or 10 o'clock. So that's why we want to start early kasi kahit na 2 hours yung natin, yung naka-allot na time, you want to make sure na lahat talaga makover, lahat ng questions ninyo, lahat ng specific situations that you're dealing with. Because again, we want na yung ma-learn ninyo from the program, ma-apply nyo rin in situations that you encounter at home. So we have there, be the confident parent your child can rely on. We have online learning sessions via Zoom from July 28 to 31. So that's July 28, 29, 30, 31 from 7 to 9 o'clock. Again, we're going to make sure to cover that could extend to 9:30. Basta we want to make sure the goal of every program that we hold is that mas long-term yung learning. We want to make sure na hindi lang siya for the weekend, okay, na type of program. So that's why naka-spread out siya onto 4 days para may assignments and then submit, and we're gonna be there together at the end. So that's 249 with the Zoom recordings and a workbook. And of course, since we are in the early bird period pa, that is mali. It's the one for sana wala pang screenshot. Is one only. Ayan. Okay. And bakit yung old pa rin? Wait lang, i-save ko muna. Okay. There you go. Saving it. And that's it. 1999 only for the early bird promo. Again, just go to bit.ly/BMBABS to register. Okay, that is 4 days at the end of July. And we have Kami. Hello, Kami. Ayan. The last we talked was sa email pa. And so happy to see you here sa live. Kami is also an OT. Okay, so welcome to our live, Kami. Ayan. Sige, so that's it for our behavior management by a Black Sheep. This is also the last run that we'll have for 2022. That means the next time we will be running behavior management by a Black Sheep will be in 2023 already. So and so you can see the registration there. Follow this link. So from last time we had these feedback from the participants. So we had, ito yung mga na-receive natin. Okay, but I'll still keep playing with the dino while we're reading the feedback. Okay, really had a great time with you, sir. Kahit papagod from work, sulit yung pagstay and super marami akong natutunan and mas nag-expand yung knowledge ko po about my profession. Thank you so much again, Sir Cesar and the team of OT Growth. So last time we had a lot of parents and also even the professionals. So we had OTs, we had PTs, we had SPED teachers as well joining us last time, and even admins din ng schools, okay, from different provinces joining us to work on behavior management. Okay, so we dealt with behaviors like hitting ng child, or yung the way they play with other kids, the way they don't follow instructions, yung no ng no, yung ayaw sumunod sa parents, or kumukontra palagi. Okay, so yun yung tinatarget natin na concerns here. So we don't just cover on the strategies agad. We want to have an understanding as to why they're happening. Okay, why behaviors are happening, because merong reasons, merong causes as to why they happen, hindi lang because of the disability, because as we know, even kids without disabilities, they also have challenging behaviors, di ba? So kahit wala pang diagnosis, merong challenging behaviors. So that's why learn how to apply, okay, or how to deal with these challenging behaviors that's backed by science, that's used by an occupational therapist, professionals, and also parents who have been successful in managing their child's challenging behaviors. Okay, so that's why we want to understand muna and to make it even more long term. Kasi, syempre, yung tina-target nyo na behavior na with your kid, hindi lang yan yung ma-encounter nyo with your kid as they grow older, right? So, hindi lang yung specific behavior yung ita-target natin. We want to teach you the entire yung system, bale, as to how to target hindi lang yung behavior na na-encounter nyo now, but future challenging behaviors that you will encounter in the future. It will come in another form, it come in a different way of expression for your kid. But of course, okay, kapag natuto kayo with trying to understand or trying to interpret ano yung need, ano yung cause behind a behavior, you will be more confident and you will be more adept then, okay, mas expert bale with handling your child's behaviors. Okay, so we will have a system para regardless of the behavior you will encounter, you will have a deeper understanding as to why that behavior is happening with your child. You will understand their perspective, your child's perspective, before you provide an interview. You notice kanina, di ba, the type of questions we have, how do I manage lying? How do I handle my child hitting other kids? How do I handle ganyan? So a lot of the programs we encounter is more of our perspective and how we try to get what we want from our kids. But when we deal with behavior management by a black sheep, and that is why actually we're using this approach, okay, with by a black sheep, kasi I had my own personal experiences then with being a black sheep while growing up. And so I want you to see that view then of your child, bale, yung perspective ng child ninyo as to why they're dealing showing their needs, they're communicating to you through these behaviors para ma-understand natin, hindi lang yung perspective natin as adults, parents, and therapists, wanting our child to follow us, but also yung perspective ng child natin, ano yung underlying reason, so that, okay, hindi lang natin makuha yung behavior na ina-expect natin from our kids, but also ma-provide din natin yung need nila. 'Di ba? So they would know na hindi lang tayo andun para makuha yung gusto natin from our kids. Hindi lang tayo nag-uutos para lang masunod tayo, but also because we want what's best for our kids, which is really true for parents. We just want the best for them because we're speaking a different language, because we're using an approach, okay, na hindi pa nila naiintindihan. But that's why we want to listen muna to our kids, okay, so that we could communicate to them better than on what they need. Okay? Sige, so that's it. We have there our feedback pa. Thank you so much for starting a seminar like this. It opened my mind into changing some of my approaches during treatment sessions. Looking forward for more seminars. Thank you and more power. And we have, this is a seminar that is very informative for parents of my patients. Very informative, excited to attend another seminar. Thank you for conducting the seminar. And here we have feedback from Nikki Ligutom. Shout out to Nikki. She attended all 4 days. It's an honor to know Otisessor as a spirited keen, knowledgeable. Not only does Otisessor teach you the how, but also teaches you the why. So this is something that I really want to highlight because again, you can learn all the techniques. Okay, you can learn all the strategies that you can about managing behaviors, but kung hindi mo alam kailan, okay, when you use it or bakit, okay, why you use that strategy, then hindi rin magagamit. You deal with behavior, sometimes it's very situational, sometimes kids mag-shift from one situation to another, so you also have to be very careful with your approach. You have to be intentional, bale, with the way you deal with your kids kasi it's di ba prone tayo na ma-stress kapag stress yung kids natin. And if tayo stress, alam din ng kids natin na stress, okay, tayo, and it gets even more stressful and it adds up. So lahat na tayo stress in the situation. And of course, we don't want that to happen kasi meron tayong questions like last time, di ba, na they're saying na napapalo yung kids nila or they get really angry. Now, we want to have an approach na kalma. Of course, ayaw natin ma-stress. Yes. We want it to be as fun as possible. Kasi if we're having fun, if we're calm, mafe-feel ng kids natin yun, and they would have, more fun than dealing with us. Okay. And yun din, ultimately, we want a better relationship with our child. And if maganda yung relationship natin with our child, it's not just with the child na mag-improve, syempre, better din yung relationships ninyo in the family, with your other children, with you as, as parents, with your spouse. But yes, dealing with children really adds stress dun sa pag-deal din ninyo with your spouse. Ng approach. So you get into fights then with each other. And lalo na, yung pinakalas, lalo na din with the in-laws. Okay? So, especially kapag ang daming voices, okay, trying to teach you how to deal with your kid. Of course, you want to be more confident. That's why ito yung pinaka-main problem that you want to deal with. Kasi if you are confident with your child, okay, with you managing your child, you won't have to deal with the stress of dealing with other people commenting on your approach. Okay? Kasi you have to know na ikaw, syempre, even with us professionals, we have to understand na you parents understand your child best. So when your child most of the time, so that's why you have a better understanding as to why a child's behavior is happening. You get a bigger picture, a bird's eye view of why the behavior is happening. Okay, so that's why valuable yung input ninyo, and valuable din yung choice ninyo of the strategy that you're gonna use. So once you go through the program, you want it to come out na kahit anong sabihin ng ibang tao with your approach, confident ka na kilala ko yung kid ko, kilala ko rin sarili ko, I know this approach is working, okay? So meron lang kaming iyak konti, meron lang kaming tantrums, okay, for a while, but of course, we're following BMBABS, we're using a system, we're following something that's tested already, not just, with one family, it's being tested, it's being used, and it's effective for multiple families, okay? So that means, i-adapt natin, okay? I-adapt natin with your child. And that's what's good din with the program. This is not a program na gagamitin mo with your child and yung child ninyo yung mag-adapt, kayo din, okay, mag-adapt. This program will let you see and try to break down yung dynamics ninyo with your child, with you as a parent, with your child, with or without a disability, the way they have their behavior. Yung child, okay, hindi yung child yung nag-adapt to the program, right? So that's why we want to make it as individualized, okay? We want to see your questions, how you apply it, okay? And of course, with any good program na merong long-term benefits, we want it to match to your routine. Okay, that's why you break it down into 4 days. Kasi we want to see first kung yung pinaka-first level ba, kaya ng routine ninyo. Kasi syempre, ayaw nga natin na this weekend lang, very good yung routine ng kid, behave niya kasi kakagaling ko lang sa BMBABS. And then later on, ma-stress na naman kayo, and then lalabas ulit yung behavior, hindi na siya effective. So we don't want that happening. We want long-term, adapt nyo muna yung very small strategies on day 1, and then going to day 2, and day 3, para kahit pagkatapos nyo sa program, hindi na kayo back to square one with a new behavior. Okay, like okay na yung kids ninyo with hitting, okay na siya. Teacher, may ano na naman siya. Yung behavior niya naman now ay nagsa-throw na naman. Teacher, yung behavior niya now ay naglalay. Or teacher, hindi siya sumusunod ng utos. Okay, so may bago na naman. So if you want to make it more long term, of course, you want to teach you how to apply the same principles in other different aspect. Hindi lang kayo marunong mag-manage ng behavior this July, but of course, sa August, September, next year, okay, and also along with your child's development. Kasi habang tumatanda sila, nagbabago din yung behaviors, nagbabago yung challenges, especially if, ayun, like what we said kanina, pag toddlers yung kids, nag-learn mag-no, you have a different approach. Kapag yung kids takot, or ayaw mag-participate, or madaling magalit, or kapag adolescents, kung saan, you're gonna expect a lot of demands pa lalo on independence. So, syempre, you have to adapt your strategies based on your child's. And nasa taas pala, hindi pa natin na-read. He knows exactly what he's saying and gives his best effort to make sure all queries and answers are addressed. I learned new things about how I can better help manage my toddlers. And that seminar helped me realize how important for parents to study and learn how to become better parents. Thank you so much. Yes, that is really true, especially with the demands that society has on parents. Parang ginagawa mo na lahat sa bahay, ikaw na lahat sa chores, ikaw na lahat sa, mga lahat yung pag-take care of the child, sa pag-discipline ng child, and then kapag may behavior yung child mo, galit agad lahat ng tao sa iyo. So it's a lot of stress, and of course I've seen that with my mom, and ako din nag-add ng as the black sheep of the family. Ako din nag-add ng stress, and so that's why that's one of the reasons din talaga why I want to hold this one. Okay, you will see din sa seminar as to why I want to really help parents, kasi syempre of course ako din growing up, I knew how hard it was, hearing sa parents ko na I'm a difficult kid, I'm the black sheep, I'm the most, parang pinakapasaway, and you keep hearing that, and so ako din, I feel a lot of guilt, now na pare. And thankful lang ako that my parents were able to survive. Survive talaga. Kaya thankful lang ako na they were very patient with me. And yun, so that's why I want to share lang that perspective kung saan ako nanggagaling as to holding this program. Okay, I know I have the perspective of an OT managing kids, but I also want to show them the side of kids naman as to why they have these behaviors, para makita natin both sides of the situation, and you will understand your kid din. Okay, you will understand yung kid din. Kasi I know gusto natin sila better understanding, and when you have a better understanding and you have a lot of strategies in hand, mas alam mo rin yung best strategy to use with your child. Yes. And lalabas kayo na di natakot with using the strategy okay, na napili ninyo with your kid. Yes. Okay. So more love for you, more love for your kid, for your husband or wife or relatives at home, mga in-laws, diba? So that's what we want. More love, less stress. And yep, ito na yung progress natin, guys, with the dinosaur. So medyo tagal pala siya. But it's really, I'm happy lang na nagawa ko na siya finally. Okay, and that's it for our live tonight. Thank you for joining 321 Grow, and I hope that I see you soon sa Behavior Management by a Black Sheep. Don't worry, we have a lot more in store. I will be seeing you next week on another live. So if you have any questions, any situation you're going, can hit me up, or if you want to set up one-on-one consultation calls, we're already opening more slots sa teletherapy natin, and also coming up with a program na monthly. So don't hesitate to chat the Facebook page. Promise this time, since we're done with the Smart Kid program, we will be responding much faster. We also have a team. We also have two people already who will be responding sa queries natin. So you're gonna hear from Shan, from Glenn, from Lion, who will be helping me in responding to your messages. So that's it. So BMBABS to register sa bit.ly link natin. And thank you so much, everybody. We have a last comment pa here from Gay, Mommy Gay. Thank you so much for Mommy Gay. Thank you so much for joining our live. And bye-bye, everybody.